there is still a group of people that want to maintain the feudal values. Their daughter, their sister, is their honor. Our honor is very dear to us.
बहुत गलत कीता उन्हें जो कीता मैं कोई गुनाह नहीं कीता सी मैं एक प्यार कीता सी शायद मैनू मार दिंदे मैनू कोई नहीं सी जो उन्होंने उन्होंने मारिया ना बहुत घटिया हरकत की है
In June in northern India, the night closes in like a furnace, the air too thick almost to breathe. It was on such a night that two newlyweds were ambushed on a lonely road in the province of Punjab. He was left for dead. She was abducted and later murdered. The police would say the order to kill her came by phone from halfway around the world, all the way from Canada.
She was just a really kind, sweet girl. Oh, just think, poor little Jassi. I sometimes think maybe this is all a bad dream, that she's over there and she's happy, and then I know she's not. Maybe she is happy now. She loved this man and she was willing to put her life on the line for him. I asked her, is your life worth dying over this man? And she said she believed it was.
His name is Jaswinder Sidhu, but in his village everyone calls him Mithu. On the first anniversary of his wife's death, he begins an elaborate prayer service, a Sikh vigil that will last a week.
मेरे कोल कोई लफ्ज़ ही नहीं गा जिस नाल मैं सार कर सकां भी मैं उन्हें कितना चाहता सी कितना प्यार करता सी वो लफ्ज़ मैं कहना दुनिया ते बने नहीं मैं कहना किसी ने इन्ना प्यार नहीं किया होना जिन्ना मैं उन्हें मैनू प्यार किया सी जिउना तां बस ये आ बस उन्होंने सज़ा दिवाउण दी खातर मैं जी रहा.
The woman who will always be his bride, Jaswinder Sidhu, or Jassi, was born in Canada and grew up in the shadow of British Columbia's coastal mountains. Jassi's home was Maple Ridge, a suburban community about an hour's drive from Vancouver. This area of British Columbia is known for its large and profitable blueberry industry. In the last 3 decades, thousands of immigrants from India's Punjab province have settled here. In 1970, Jassi's family came here and set up a successful blueberry farm. Hers was always a conservative family, observant of the Sikh religion and Punjabi culture. When Jassi was young, her father was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Much of the decision-making in the household was taken over by another man, Jassi's uncle, Surjit Badesha, the mother's eldest brother. He lived here along with 3 generations of Jassi's family, aunts, uncles, and cousins. Jassi's cousin Bindi Lit remembers how Jassi loved her Indian heritage. That's Jassi in the dark dress.
She liked East Indian music. She liked the Indian clothes. She wasn't really into the Western culture at all. She was kept away from all the wrong things.
Could she freely sort of go out with her friends
No.
and things like that?
No,
Why not?
it was prohibited. She wasn't allowed to do that.
Jassi's first timid steps beyond that closed world took her just down the road. She wanted a career as a beautician, and she enrolled at a school run by Deb DeVos. Teacher and student soon became close friends.
She was never allowed to date in high school. Never. She wasn't allowed to go out by herself. She certainly couldn't go to a nightclub with girlfriends. If she did go out somewhere, she was usually accompanied by another family member. She didn't have freedom like we have.
Jassi was now chafing at the restrictions and the domination of her male cousins and her uncle Surjit.
She hated the control they had. She always felt that they were following her or spying on her.
But Jassi's experiences paled in comparison to the ordeals of Mithu's early life. In the 1980s, Punjab was awash in the violence of the Sikh separatist movement. It led to a military attack on the Golden Temple at Amritsar, the Sikhs' holiest shrine. A crackdown followed, and thousands of young men with Sikh turbans and beards were rounded up. Innocent Punjabi teens were branded terrorists.
ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸ਼ੱਕ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਖਾੜਕੂਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਅਟੈਚ ਹੋਣ। ਪੁਲਿਸ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਰਦੀ ਸੀ, ਅੰਬਰ ਛਕਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ, ਕਰੰਟ ਲਾਉਣਾ, ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਸਰੀਰ ਨੂੰ ਝਟਕੇ ਪੈਂਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ, ਮੂੰਹ 'ਚੋਂ ਝੱਗ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਸੀ, ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਨਾਲ ਬੇਹੋਸ਼ੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਸੀਗੀ।
This happened when Mithu was just 16 years old. He was traumatized by his experience. He shaved his beard, abandoned his turban, the symbols of his religion, and he struggled to rebuild his life. He turned to the traditional sport of kabaddi, a kind of team tag played in the withering heat. Kabaddi gave him a new strength and made him a star. By 1995, agile, unbeatable, he was touring Punjab professionally. That year, Jassi came here, the village where her mother was born, and heard stories of the handsome kabaddi player.
ਉਸ ਟਾਈਮ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਦੇਖਿਆ, ਉਹਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦੇਖਿਆ, ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਸ਼ਰਮਿੰਦਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਸੰਗ ਕੇ ਜੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਮੇਰਾ ਨਾਮ ਜਸਵਿੰਦਰ ਜੱਸੀ ਆ, ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਤੋਂ ਆਈ ਹਾਂ। ਉਸ ਟਾਈਮ ਹੀ ਬਸ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਚੱਲਿਆ, ਪਿਆਰ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨਾਲ।
So that's the window that you would go to?
They began a secret romance. He'd crouch under her window at night. They'd whisper and touch hands. Her family could know nothing of their stolen moments. 19, in love for the very first time, but she understood. This was a forbidden love. Mithu, a year younger, would never be a suitable match. His job driving a rickshaw taxi was considered undignified. He might be charismatic and athletic, but he had no property and no wealth. Jassi cared about none of that, and before she returned to Canada, she vowed one day they'd be together. She said Mithu was her destiny.
ਬਸ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਆ ਕੇ ਰੋਣ ਹੀ ਲੱਗ ਗਈ, ਵੀ ਮਿੱਠੂ ਮੈਂ ਤੇਰੇ ਬਿਨਾਂ ਰਹਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੀ, ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣਾ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਤੂੰ ਆਪਦੇ ਕੋਲੇ ਰੱਖ ਲਾ, ਵੀ ਦੇਖੀ ਤੂੰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਭੁੱਲ ਨਾ ਜਾਈਂ, ਵੀ ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਚਲੀ ਗਈ, ਜੇ ਤੂੰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਭੁੱਲ ਗਿਆ ਮੈਂ ਮਰ ਜੂਗੀ, ਮੈਂ ਤੇਰੇ ਬਿਨਾਂ ਰਹਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੀ।
However, Jassi's family had other plans. They wanted an arranged marriage like this for their daughter, an elaborate ceremony, and a groom with status. In keeping with tradition, Jassi was presented with a selection of men.
She was like an asset to the family, and you do what you have to do to protect that asset and ensure that it doesn't get tarnished. They had somebody that was quite a bit older than her that was interested in a marriage.
How old?
He was 60. But it wasn't a joke. And once we realized these people were serious, that they would actually marry her to a man, 40 years her senior, I was horrified.
ਤੇ ਫੋਨ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੀ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਮਿੱਠੂ ਹੁਣ ਦੱਸ ਵੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਮੈਰਿਜ ਕਰਨ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਜਸ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਜਲਦੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਜਲਦੀ ਕੁਛ ਕਰ ਨਾ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਮੇਰੀ ਮੈਰਿਜ ਹੋਰ ਕਿਤੇ ਕਰ ਦੇਣਗੇ।
Then Jassi had an inspiration. She told her family, "Take me to India, to my mother's village, and find me a husband there." So they returned. And while her family lined up potential mates, she slipped away to Mithu.
बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम असीं जफ्फी पा के एक दूजे नूं बहुत प्यार किया। मैं दस्सिया बहुत औखा भी मैं बहुत औखा रहा दस भी मैं तेरे बिना नहीं रह सकदा गा। उहने भी यही गल्लां कीतियां। फिर वो मैनूं कहंदी आपां मिठू मेरे नाल मैरिज करा ला।
When we come back, love on the run. Jassi was about to do the unthinkable. On the pretense that she was to stay with a girlfriend, she traveled to a nearby city to meet up with her true love, Mithu. They found a Sikh priest to marry them in secret. And on March 15th, 1999, the beautiful and wealthy girl from Canada married the lowly rickshaw driver. The honeymoon lasted a single night. Then she returned to Canada with her family, as if nothing had happened.
Jassi swore everybody to secrecy because her fear of her family was very real. She told us that if her family found out that she was involved with him, that they would kill her.
The dilemma of a young woman who dares to choose against her family's wishes is embedded in the cultural fabric of the Indo-Canadian community. In this music video produced in British Columbia, a wrathful father, disgraced by a daughter's romance, orders the sons to avenge the family honor.
We, Indo-Canadian people, attach our honor to the social activity of the sister or a daughter. When they do something which we consider traditionally inappropriate, then we feel dishonored. Ready, Punjab?
This idea of honor has nothing to do with the Sikh religion, according to Harjinder Thind. He hosts a popular Punjabi radio talk show. He says honor is rooted in the culture.
Our honor is very dear to us. Ankh, izzat we call it. So we attach that ankh or izzat with our daughters and sisters.
Is the honor more important than the life of a child?
In some cases, a group of people think, yes.
Jassi understood this code of honor. She knew if her family discovered her secret marriage, they might try to harm Mithu in India. But this was Canada, and Jassi believed he would be safe here. So she hired a lawyer to rush his immigration proceedings and get him here as quickly as possible. But in the village, hints of a scandalous love marriage were picked up like the wind, swirling about every gathering, unstoppable. Someone in the village made a call to Jassi's mother, Malkit, in Canada.
She was very emotional, she was very angry, very upset. She was flaring her arms all over the place, and she was using high-pitched voice. She was crying too. She told me that he was from a low caste part of India where he was a rickshaw driver. She said that he was short, black, very dark-skinned. He doesn't have a figure. He looks like a girl. He was ugly. He was not up to the power standards of the family, that he would never amount to anything. He was just doing this to come to Canada and to get into her bank account.
It was a family crisis. If word of the secret marriage got out, the family would be disgraced.
She was confined to her room, and she wasn't allowed to leave. She wasn't allowed to see anyone or call anyone or do anything, or go to work for that matter. My aunt confessed to saying that she hit her. She said, yeah, she's my daughter, you know, I have a right to hit my daughter if she, you know, is doing wrong. And she said that she slapped her silly.
And then Jassi's uncle, enraged at the deception, determined to get back at Mithu with a lesson he'd never forget. He flew to India. He went to the local Punjab police demanding that Mithu be punished. He told the police Jassi's marriage to Mithu was a fraud. In this police document obtained by the Fifth Estate, the uncle says Jassi was kidnapped at gunpoint by Mithu and forced to sign a blank marriage paper. A wildly improbable story, but this was India. The uncle had stature and money, a reputation abroad. The police knew what to do. Indian journalist Tavleen Singh has written extensively on the corruption of the Indian justice system.
Everywhere in India, it is possible for wealthy individuals to turn the justice system to their advantage. The way it works is that you first pay the police to register a false case. You then find out whether you could find a cooperative magistrate, and you maybe pay him. And you pay other officials at the district level who would then act in your favor. So you can actually buy your way through the whole thing. And if the person that you're trying to fix happens not to be as powerful as you, then he's had it. I mean, he hasn't got a hope.
An unsuspecting Mithu had no idea what was in store for him. He was away on an errand on the day police came to arrest him on charges of illegal confinement and fraud. His widowed mother, all alone, was confronted not only by police, but by Jassi's furious uncle, Surjit.
बहुत बोले मैनू आके मंदा चंगा 10 मुंडे किथे 10 मुंडे किथे उस टाइम मैनू ये दबका दिता उन्होंने कहंदे कि 10 मुंडे किथे तेरे दोने मुंडे असीं छड्डणे नहीं.
Next on the uncle's list was Mithu's close friend, Bindri. 4 policemen dragged him away, but he says the chief interrogator was the uncle from Canada.
उन्होंने डांगा नाल साडी ढूई च डांगा बहुत मारियां खड़े करके साडे पैर बन लेंदे पैरां ते बहुत मारियां ज़्यादा पटियां नाल पटे भी साडे बहुत पिठ ते मारे जानी कि उन्होंने साडे नाल धक्का कीता.
Did Surjit ever beat you?
हाँ जी सरजीत ने सानू आप खुद मारिया जी बहुत जानी कि आप चपेड़ा मारदा जी फाड़ करके सिड़दा सीगा जी छड़ा दूंगा मिठू दस दो मैनू कित्थे आ मैं तुहानू बाद दे विच छड़ दूंगा असीं कहंदे जी सानू की पता हुण मिठू कित्थे आ.
Bindri and another friend, Soni, were official witnesses at the wedding. But if they would deny the wedding ever happened, that would back up the uncle's story. Bindri says the uncle dangled an astronomical sum before them.
And how much money did he offer you?
ਉਹ 5 ਲੱਖ ਰੁਪਇਆ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੋਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਸੋਨੀ ਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ. ਸਰਜੀਤ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਮੰਨਦਾ ਸੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਵਾਲੇ ਖੁਦ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਲੈ ਲਓ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਚ ਜਾਓਗੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਬਚ ਜੂਗੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮਰੋਗੇ.
The RCMP, meanwhile, was investigating reports that Jassi was being confined in her home. On April 7th, the Mounties arrived at the house. Jassi grabbed a few belongings and fled. Some family members shouted insults after her. She turned to Tamara Lamarind, a co-worker who was also a close friend.
She just called me and she said, I'm at the police station in Maple Ridge. I've left.
and I'm waiting here. Can I come stay at your house? She just shoved everything into these 2 big garbage bags, and she had a big suitcase, and she had her esthetician stuff in a big toolbox. She was just starting to get like the sense of, I've got to do something now. She had to change things. Like she was either going to go and get him, or she was going to somehow get him back here, or she had to help him some way. She just didn't know how.
Mithu is now a hunted man. The only person who can save him is his young bride, half a world away. And what does she know of India's rough justice? Afraid he needs to prove that they even know each other, he tapes a conversation with Jassi. She sends a fax to the Indian police confirming they're married and pleading for help. I fear for the safety of myself and Jaswinder on a daily basis, she writes, using Mithu's formal name. But the police are unmoved. If she wants to prove the marriage happened, she'll have to go to India and do it in person.
क्योंकि सारिਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਸਹੀ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਡਾਕੂਮੈਂਟ ਸੀ ਫੋਟੋ ਜੀ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ ਉਹਦੀਆਂ ਲੈਟਰ ਜੀ ਜੋ ਮੈਂ ਬੈਲ ਫੋਨ ਕਰਦਾ ਸੀ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਸੀ ਪਰ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਵਜੂਦ ਦਿਖਾਉਣ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਐ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਉਹ ਪੈਸੇ ਦੇ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਬਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਨ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਨੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ
By now, Jassi's mother was searching for her runaway daughter and making it clear that if Jassi went to India to help Mithu, things could get ugly. Cousin Bindi Lit remembers her hostility.
She was saying all along that it's a family disgrace. And she's defaming the family name. They weren't going to let her be married to a guy like that and bring him out here to Canada. They were going to put a stop to it. She kept saying that there are pretty powerful people in India and that if they wanted to, they can get anything done in India. She said to me that what's waiting for her is death. She said India is her death sentence.
Some of Jassi's friends are telling her not to go to India. It's too dangerous. She's convinced if she doesn't go, her new husband will be imprisoned or killed. Her bank account frozen, she scrapes together the airfare with donations from friends. All she can think about is getting to Mithu. He is there to meet her at the airport in Delhi. Even through the exhaustion, you can see the relief on their faces. Reunited, they allow themselves to believe that fate is turning in their favor. When we come back, a dark road, a deadly deed. Reunited in India, newlyweds Jassi and Mithu have a lot to overcome. They need to outwit her uncle and stay one step ahead of the police. Jassi hires a lawyer, and then she finds a sympathetic judge who will listen to her story and look at her documents. Finally, the false charges against Mithu are set aside. Before he leaves India, Jassi's uncle Surjit confronts Mithu.
ਇਹ ਆ ਗਏ ਸਰਜੀਤ ਹੁਣੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਇੱਜ਼ਤ ਦਾ ਸਵਾਲ ਆ ਥੋੜੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਤੂੰ ਇੱਜ਼ਤ ਰੋਲਤੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਇੰਨਾ ਪੈਸਾ ਸਾਡੀ ਚਾਹੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਇਦਾਦ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਰੀ ਲੱਗ ਜੀ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਛੱਡਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਗਾ ਜੀ ਤਲਾਕ ਨਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਮੈਂ ਸਰਜੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਜੀ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਜੇ ਤੇਰੇ 'ਚ ਹਿੰਮਤ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਤੂੰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਖੁਦ ਆਪੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੁਣੀ ਸ਼ੂਟ ਕਰ ਦੇ ਹੁਣੇ ਮਾਰ ਦੇ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਸੀ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਹਿੰਮਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਹ ਪੈਸਾ ਦੇ ਕੇ ਕਰਾਉਣ ਵਾਲਿਆ ਮੈਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੇ
The uncle has left India, but the danger remains. They still need Mithu's immigration papers, and while they wait, they stay in his village at his mother's house.
ਜੱਸੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਅੱਛੀ ਕੁੜੀ ਸੀ, ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਊ ਤੇ ਲਾਇਕਵੰਦ ਤੇ ਸੋਹਣੀ। ਬਸ ਜੀ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਐਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਸੀ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਵੱਧ ਲਾਡਲਾ ਜਾਂ ਧੀ ਪੁੱਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਕਹਿਣਾ ਵੀ ਚੱਲ ਦੋ ਮਿੱਠੂ ਰਾਣੇ ਹੋਣੀ ਨੇ, ਤੀਜੀ ਤੂੰ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਵਰਗਾ ਹੀ ਆ ਪੁੱਤ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ। ਹਾਂਜੀ।
Mithu's mother is delighted with her new daughter-in-law, but she says it's too dangerous for them to stay with her in the village and insists they hide with relatives in another town. But somehow Jassi's family tracks them down. And on June 7th, Jassi's mother calls the house where they're staying.
ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਵੀ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਪੈਸੇ ਭੇਜ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਹਾਂ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਕਦੋਂ ਆਓਗੇ, ਵੀ ਹਜੇ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਦਿਨ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੋ। ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੱਸਿਆ।
And then she asks to speak to Jassi. It is a fateful moment.
ਉਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੋਈ ਵੀ ਮੇਰੀ ਮਮ ਦਾ ਫੋਨ ਆ ਗਿਆ, ਆਪਣੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੁਣ ਬੋਲਣ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਣਗੇ। ਪਰ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਉਹਨੇ ਜੱਸ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛ ਲਿਆ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਦਿਨ ਇੱਥੇ ਨਾਰੀ ਕੀ ਹੈ।
Jassi is overjoyed to be talking to her mother again after so many months. But she has said too much. That same day, there is another long-distance call, this one from the home of Jassi's uncle in Canada. And that phone call goes to a gangster in a nearby city.
ਮੇਰੇ ਮਗਰ ਇੱਕ ਸਕੂਟਰ ਸੀ, ਸਕੂਟਰ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਾਸ ਕੀਤਾ, ਉਹ ਇੱਕਦਮ ਮੇਰੇ ਵੱਲ ਦੇਖੇ 2 ਮਿੰਟ। ਮੈਂ ਆਪਦੇ ਨਾਨਕੇ ਰੋਡ ਤੋਂ ਆਪਦੇ ਨਾਨਕੇ ਮੁੜਿਆ, ਕਾਫੀ ਦੂਰ ਲਾਈਟ ਪਈ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਡੀ ਖੜੀ ਹੋਈ ਦੇਖੀ। ਕਿਦਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਅਟੈਕ ਕੀਤਾ ਸਾਡੇ 'ਤੇ। ਜੱਸੀ ਦੇ ਹੱਕ ਹੀ ਲੱਗੇ ਉਰੇ, ਉਹ ਬੈਕ ਡਿੱਗ ਪਈ। ਥੋੜਾ ਉੱਪਰ ਕਰ, ਬਸ ਚੁੱਕਣ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗੇ ਉਦੋਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਰਪਾਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਇੱਕਦਮ ਥੱਲੇ ਜੋ ਨੀਚੇ ਡਿੱਗਿਆ। ਜੱਸੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ਾਂ ਮਾਰਦੀ ਮਿੱਠੂ ਮਿੱਠੂ ਕਰਕੇ।
Mithu is left for dead. The men bring Jassi here to this farmhouse in the middle of the night. She doesn't know who the men are. They're armed and menacing. If she screams, it does her no good. She is plunged into terror. She begs for her life. A villager walking by this irrigation ditch found her body lying in the water at daylight.
ਫਿਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਜਾਣੇ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਤਾਂ ਜੱਸੀ ਦੀ ਲਾਸ਼ ਹੈ। ਪੁੱਛੋ ਨਾ, ਫਿਰ ਤਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਹਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਿਹਾ। ਕਾਮੜੀ ਹੋ ਗਈ, ਮੈਂ ਆਪ ਦਾ ਆਪ ਖਪਾ ਹਾਏ ਪੁੱਤ, ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਤੇਰੀ ਕਿਸਮਤ ਮਾੜੀ ਹੋ ਗਈ। ਪੁੱਤ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਸੀ ਲੋਕ ਛਿਪ ਕੇ ਰਹੋ, ਤੂੰ ਪਾਪੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਧੱਕੇ ਚੜ ਗਈ।
ਕੱਲੇ ਆਵੇ ਨਾਨਕਾ ਸਦੇ ਉੱਠੀ ਜਾਏ ਦੇ ਮਾਵਕ ਅਨੁਸਾਰ, ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਦਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੀਤਵਾਨ ਚੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ, ਬੀਬੀ ਜਸਵਿੰਦਰ ਜੱਸੀ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਨਿਵਾਸੀ, ਪਤਨੀ ਸੁਖਵਿੰਦਰ ਮਿੱਠੂ ਕਾਲ ਚਲਾਣਾ ਕਰ ਗਏ ਹਨ। ਨਾਨਕ ਨਾਮ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ, ਤੇਰੇ ਪਾਣੇ ਸਰਬੱਤ ਦਾ ਭਲਾ।
We couldn't believe it. We'd heard about it, but we didn't think it was true. Everyone was just devastated. We just couldn't believe it. She would always joke, oh, they're going to make a movie about my life one of these days because, you know, and we'd always say, oh, but at least it'll have a happy ending, you know. Well, we didn't know that this was going to happen. I mean.
Mithu, with broken bones and serious head injuries, drifted in and out of consciousness for more than a month. He'd ask for Jassi. His friends couldn't bear to tell him the truth. News of the murdered bride filled the papers. Readers devoured every detail about the beautiful, wealthy Canadian woman whose love for a lowly rickshaw driver cost her her very life. The endless publicity elevated the hunt for her killers to a police priority. The first big break in the case came when police raided the farmhouse.
We shall produce the entire case property. This is the car which is recovered in the possession of the accused, Anil Kumar. This is the place from where blood-stained clothes, cutted and sent laboratory. A sword was used in the crime.
This is her shoe?
Shoe of Jassi.
Jassi's shoe. And you have a gun here as well, a small gun?
And one pistol and a second 30-string rifle.
This belongs to
Anil Kumar.
With the evidence in, police charged almost a dozen men, one of them in manacles here. Most are members of a local crime ring, say police, and most have now confessed their involvement. Up to that point, it was just another murder investigation, even though the plot also involved this corrupt police inspector. But then investigators found these, evidence of a long-distance murder. Phone records documenting a call to the killer's cell phone on the night of Jassi's murder. The caller is from British Columbia. The phone number matches the Maple Ridge number of Jassi's uncle, Surjit Singh Badesha. The senior superintendent of the Sangrur police is Jatinder Aulak. His allegations are chilling.
one of the killers. He was holding the phone. Surjit was telling them that you kill the girl, we'll pay you more. He says that the girl is pleading innocently, she wants to talk to you. Okay, then Surjit said, okay, you talk to the girl's mother. And Ashu gave the phone to the Jassi. They did talk for around 1 minute. Jassi was telling her mother, please leave me, please have mercy on me, I won't do anything.
You're telling me that this gentleman overheard Jassi begging her mother for her life.
She was saying, just Mama, leave me, I won't do this, I'll come back, I'll do whatever you say. The mother said, kill her, don't leave her.
The mother said to kill her?
Yes. Kill her, and the killers, they slit her throat.
The very idea of relatives killing a daughter over marrying the wrong boy seems totally incredible to me.
You're right, but this is what actually happened here.
And the superintendent goes further. He says the killers were paid $40,000. A prosecuting attorney has filed all of this shocking evidence before the High Court in India, and Jassi's mother and uncle are now considered fugitives from Indian law. When we come back...
Mrs. Sidhu? Indian police say that you ordered Jassi's murder.
In Richmond, BC, Jassi's mother works at a recycling plant. She and her brother are considered fugitives from Indian law, but they are free to go about their business in Canada. They're Canadian citizens. They can't be deported. Indian police want to extradite them. But given the big difference in legal systems, extradition appears highly unlikely. And justice in Canada? Well, the RCMP told us if someone in Canada wants to hire a hitman to kill a Canadian in another country, it's none of the Mounties' business.
We have no jurisdiction to investigate a murder that happened in India, unless we get a specific request from the Indian police.
Constable Cheryl Silvestri is a spokesperson for the RCMP in Maple Ridge.
Jassi's been dead for a year. Punjab police have accused her uncle and her mother of conspiring to kill her, of hiring a gang to kill her, and you're telling me it's none of our business.
Well, I can just tell you that we do not have any investigation going on right now.
What's alleged in this case is that the conspiracy to kill Jassi originated here, that the order to kill her was given here, and the actual murder occurred there. Why wouldn't you have some kind of jurisdiction to investigate?
No, I'm afraid it is the jurisdiction of the Indian police, and we cannot investigate anything unless we do have a formal request.
But the Criminal Code Section 4651A makes it clear police can investigate a Canadian who conspires to murder someone in a foreign country.
They can be and should be investigated, and if the evidence is there, prosecuted. I don't believe that Canada should be a safe haven for persons who plot murders, even if they're committed elsewhere.
John Rosen is a noted Canadian criminal lawyer who says police don't need a formal request from foreign authorities to open an investigation.
If a person in Canada decides to have another person in another part of the world killed and goes about making those arrangements, then the person in Canada can be prosecuted not only for conspiracy to commit murder, but also for the murder. A person who hires somebody to commit murder is as guilty as the person who pulls the trigger.
In British Columbia's Sikh community, Jassi's uncle Surjit is a powerful figure. He's a former president of this temple in Richmond. He and his sister have denied any involvement in Jassi's killing. In published reports, he's blamed Mithu's family. We approach Jassi's mother at her work.
Mrs. Sidhu? I'm with CBC Television. Can I talk to you? Indian police say that you ordered Jassi's murder. Can I talk to you about what they're alleging?
I don't know.
Can you talk to me, please?
No, I don't want to talk to him.
She wouldn't speak to us.
Are you Mr. Badesha?
But Jagtar Badesha, another of Jassi's uncles, insisted the allegations were preposterous.
Very hard allegation,
Mother
no?
never say, you kill my daughters, bad or good. Never.
Was
man different.
You're saying the mother did not do this?
No way.
Could the uncle?
No, uncle, my brother, very nice man. He temple man. He go to temple every day.
Finally, in Maple Ridge, we found the uncle, Surjit Singh Badesha.
Mr. Badesha, I'm with CBC Television. I wanted to talk to you about all the allegations that Indian police have made about you. Can you talk to me, sir?
I have no comments.
Sir, the police in India are making serious allegations. They say they have notes that show a phone call from your house to the cell phone of the killer the day that she died. What do you say to that,
I don't
sir?
know nothing.
Mr. Badesha didn't want to talk to us, but he did tell a Punjabi reporter that it would cost the government millions to extradite him.
I don't know nothing. Don't talk to me.
Mr. Badesha, these are serious allegations. Can we talk about them?
But he is not talking, and police in Canada have no interest in talking to him. It's a lot for a simple man from a poor village to demand justice for his murdered bride. Witnesses in India are commonly threatened or bribed not to testify. Mithu knows this. One night after his release from hospital, a gunman crept to his house to finish the work Jassi's killers had begun. By chance, he wasn't home. Since then, his friends have banded together to protect him. In a scene that speaks to Punjab's frontier justice, they accompany him, guard him around the clock, armed with shotguns specifically approved by the police. Mithu says the intimidation is coming from Jassi's family in India.
ਮੈਨੂੰ ਧਮਕੀਆਂ ਆ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਡਰਾ ਧਮਕਾ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਵੀ ਤੂੰ ਤਰੀਕ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣਾ ਗਵਾਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਣੀਗੀ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਖਤਮ ਕਰ ਦਾਂਗੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਰਾਜੀਨਾਮਾ ਕਰ ਲਾ, ਮਨੀ ਲੈ ਲਾ। ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਮਨੀ ਦਾ ਕਦੇ ਪਿਆਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ, ਨਾ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਦਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਵੇਚਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਵਾਂ। ਮੇਰੀ ਜਾਨ ਚਲੀ ਜਾਊਗੀ ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਕੋਈ ਰਾਜੀਨਾਮਾ ਪੈਸੇ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਵੇਚਦਾ।
He sleeps on the roof these days because he's afraid of another attack. The memory of Jassi is his only comfort now, and his burden. He cannot have her back. She will not go away.
ਪਰ ਹੁਣ ਤਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਮੈਦ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਹੀ, ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਪਾਊਂਗਾ। ਇਹ ਸੋਚ ਲੈਣਾ ਵੀ ਇਸ ਜਨਮ 'ਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਅਗਲੇ ਜਨਮ 'ਚ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਜੂਗੀ। ਮੇਰੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ 'ਚ ਫਸਟ ਜੱਸੀ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ। ਉਹ ਵੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਹੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੀ ਵੀ ਫਸਟ ਮਿੱਠੂ ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਆ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਮੇਰਾ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਛ ਆ, ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਮੇਰਾ ਗੋਡ। ਜੀਣਾ ਮਰਨਾ ਵੀ ਤੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਆ, ਜੀਣਾ ਮਰਨਾ ਵੀ ਤੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ।